The room was quiet, clothes scattered across the floor. The young man lay sprawled on the bed. His eyes were closed. He blinked awake, gaze hazy, dark hair disheveled. Pushing himself up on one elbow, he rubbed at his temple. Memories flickered, fragmented images, then slipped away. He turned his head. And froze. A woman with long, snow-white hair lay beside him. Why is there a woman here? Shock washed over him as he tried to recall how he ended up there. A sudden vibration shattered the stillness. He grabbed his phone. His thoughts jumped to Zhao Jia after seeing the message. He clearly remembered their past, yet now, a message from her popped up on his phone. She was speaking as though they were still dating, her tone bold and familiar. This confused him even more. In his memory, not long after his freshman year of college, she had dumped him without mercy. Checking the date on his phone, Jiang Cheng froze. Zhao Jia had blocked him on WeChat in the past, so why was she messaging him now? The date itself stirred a chilling possibility. Had he been reborn? In his previous life, Zhao Jia had dismissed him coldly, complaining he was too slow to send red envelopes, offered no emotional value, didn't understand her, and didn't truly love her. She claimed to have found someone who understood and loved her more. Another man, clearly her new boyfriend, told Jiang Cheng to disappear so as not to make things awkward. He had once sworn to be with Zhao Jia forever, to cherish her. But reality struck hard. Her usual pattern was to invent excuses to demand money, the same old formula every time. He now realized how blind and shameless he had been back then. Determined to change his fate, Jiang Cheng decided there was no time like the present. He texted Zhao Jia, telling her it was over. She was shocked, stammering for clarification, but he repeated firmly that they should part ways due to incompatible values. Her final message was a bitter acceptance, warning him not to regret it. Internally, Jiang Cheng scoffed. Why would he give her the chance to betray him again? Suddenly, a strange system notification appeared. Host's firm and decisive nature detected. Congratulations, host, on activating the Dream Come True Tycoon system. Jiang Cheng was stunned. A tycoon system? Could this really be the classic? Reborn with cheats. Starter pack? Information filled his vision: name, age, height, looks, and a simple, overpowered function, 0.1 yuan per second, which amounted to 8,640 yuan a day and 259,200 yuan a month. He was ecstatic. The system congratulated him again and offered to open a newbie gift pack. Without hesitation, he accepted. The rewards were staggering: a 10 million yuan supercar, a beginner shop and crit card, max 1 million yuan per card, and a friendly scanner. His bank account showed an actual deposit of over 10 million yuan. Curious, he tested the scanner on the silver-haired woman beside him, Yu Xiao, age 25, with an impressive appearance score and privacy, 1, friendliness, 60, normal affinity. The other statistics were easy enough to interpret, but the privacy value puzzled him. Curious, he tapped on the privacy stat. A system prompt explained that it represented the total number of the most intimate encounters a person had experienced with the opposite sex. Realization struck him. If Yu Xiao's privacy was listed as 1, then she had only been with one man in her life, and that man was him. In his past life, around this time, Zhao Jia had ignored him, prompting him to drink alone at a bar. That night he met Yu Xiao, who was also drinking in misery. Though she gave him her first time, her friendliness score of 60 revealed it wasn't love, just a drunken impulse. Yu Xiao woke up, covering herself, and observed Jiang Cheng with a curious gaze. She remarked that his sigh, followed by a bitter smile and a shake of the head, looked exactly like the way he had been drinking last night, as if he were born to be sentimental. Jiang Cheng calmly replied that he wasn't reminiscing about the past. Internally, however, he marveled that even this kind of casual banter seemed to trigger the system. With the newly acquired agile tongue skill, he thought mischievously that Yu Xiao might soon be overwhelmed with pleasure. She asked why he was awake in the middle of the night, sighing like that. Jiang Cheng answered that he was simply lamenting why they hadn't met sooner, then leaned in with a teasing smile, inviting her to feel for herself if she didn't believe him. Yu Xiaoxiao thought to herself that he was such a flirt, and yet she couldn't resist. The system chimed in, rewarding him for driving too fast. With 2 items, a supercar purchase crit card and the agile tongue skill, described as enhancing every cell of the tongue to make it more flexible and powerful. As they drew close, Yu Xiaoxiao's thoughts spun. His touch was unlike anything she'd experienced before, entirely different from the past. Jiang Cheng smirked between moments, telling her that the real closeness had only just begun. The following day, Jiang Cheng awoke and stretched, only to glance beside him in surprise. The bed was empty, and a thick stack of banknotes lay scattered on the sheets. Judging by the amount, it was no small sum. A note rested on top. "Thank you for your hospitality. I was very satisfied last night. This is the payment you earned." Jiang Cheng chuckled to himself as he dressed. Yu Xiaoxiao was truly an interesting woman, giving him her first time, then paying him for it. Unfortunately, he hadn't gotten her contact information. He turned his focus to the crit card he'd received. The idea intrigued him. Spending money could trigger a crit. Did that mean more money? Experience points? Or perhaps rare rewards like equipment drops in a game? If he simply bought the 10 million yuan supercar, the maximum 50-fold cashback could net him 500 million. But if he first used his 5 beginner crit cards to build up enough funds, then bought an even more expensive supercar, the cashback could be astronomical. This was his second chance at life. With a cheat system in hand, he had no intention of letting it go to waste. He vowed to become a world-famous tycoon and to write his own legend in this world. He calculated that there was still plenty of time before certain major tech giants rose to prominence. If he could gather enough seed money to purchase a large number of founders' shares early, it could be the key to fulfilling his soaring ambitions. Stepping outside and approaching his car, he considered another opportunity. In Rongqing, property purchases were unrestricted as long as no bank loans were involved, a perfect use for his 1 million yuan crit cards. As he prepared to get in the car, a purple-haired woman standing nearby called out to him. She asked if the supercar was his, and when he confirmed, she leaned against it, speaking in a seductive tone. She claimed she was in a hurry to get home due to a burst sewer pipe and asked if he could give her a ride. Activating the friendly scanner, Jiang Cheng read her stats: Chen Liqui, age 23, privacy, 28, friendliness, 90, intimate. He noted privately that a privacy count that high was within expectations, but a friendliness score that high toward a stranger was excessive. Without giving her the answer she hoped for, he walked toward his car. From inside, he remarked dryly that being among 28 like-minded people was too crowded for his taste. He then started the engine and drove away. Chen Liqui, left behind and visibly annoyed, was shocked. How could he possibly know she had been with 28 men? After MC is gone, she remarked under her breath about how handsome he was. Nearby, an old man stood frozen, his expression blank. After a moment, the old man perked up, offering to help the woman with her pipes. He proudly declared that he had been a professional plumber for 30 years, his chest puffing out slightly with pride. The woman's face twisted in disgust. Without hesitation, she snapped at him, calling him a pervert and a creep. The old man blinked in confusion, his brow furrowing. He couldn't understand why she was yelling. His technique was top-notch. As she stormed off, the old man trailed behind, still baffled, while the surrounding crowd burst into laughter at the absurd scene. Just then, another man stepped forward, clapping the old-timer on the shoulder. He explained, with a mix of pity and amusement, that the woman's pipes hadn't been literal. The old man's eyes widened in realization. Shaking his head, he muttered about how weird kids were these days before shuffling away. Meanwhile, the woman hurried off, grumbling under her breath about her terrible luck and how everything had gone wrong that day. At the same time, the MC pulled up in a sleek sports car outside a real estate agency. He stepped out with effortless confidence, his sharp attire and demeanor immediately catching attention. Inside, 2 agents, a nervous newbie named Xiao Xia and her dismissive boss, watched his approach. The manager, assuming he was just another spoiled rich kid, decided to pawn him off on Xiao Xia to avoid wasting his own time. With a smirk, the boss nudged the newbie forward, telling her to handle it alone and just follow the procedures they had practiced. Xiao Xia swallowed her nerves and approached the MC, introducing herself in a slightly shaky voice. "Hello, sir. I'm Xiao Xia from the Lianjia Real Estate Agency. How can I assist you today?" The young man cut straight to the point. "Help me find a house." Xiao Xia nodded eagerly before asking about his budget. From a distance, the manager took a slow drag of his cigarette, watching with detached amusement. He thought to himself that the newbie really needed to learn how to pick her clients better. Once inside the agency, Xiao Xia pulled up a few modest listings, assuming the MC would be interested in cheaper options. However, he interrupted her, his tone casual yet firm. "Show me properties in the 1 million yuan range." Her eyes widened in shock, but she quickly composed herself, typing rapidly into her tablet. "Oh, of course. Right away, sir." After a few minutes of scrolling through listings, Xiao Xia suddenly remembered to ask if the client had any location preferences. The MC leaned back in his chair, considering the question. He explained that he wanted properties that would be easy to rent out, whether furnished or unfurnished didn't matter to him. As he spoke, he studied the young agent. She was clearly inexperienced, fumbling slightly with her tablet, but there was a sincerity in her efforts that he appreciated. Deciding to trust her, he discreetly activated his system's scanner to assess her potential value. Xiao Xia, unaware of his scrutiny, pulled up several options near a bustling commercial street, their prices ranging from modest to premium. The MC mentally reviewed his starter card's limit 1 million yuan per property and calculated his next move. Noticing his silence, she hesitated. Are these not what you're looking for?" He shook his head. "No, it's not that." His mind was elsewhere, strategizing how to maximize the bonus from his card. After a beat, he looked up. "Can the prices on the higher-end units be negotiated? If so, I'll take all 5. Xiao Xia's fingers froze midway. "All 5? He doubled down, his tone casual yet firm. "If you can get each for 1 million flat, I'll pay in cash today." The agent's breath itched. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. 5 properties? Cash? Her commission alone would be. Before she could spiral, the MC continued, "I'll also hire you to manage the rentals." Xiao Xia's shock melted into exhilaration. "I'll get you that price." Nearby, the manager, who had been eavesdropping, his earlier smirk vanished as bitter regret twisted his gut. A cash deal for 5 properties? He'd handed this whale to the newbie like spare change. He wanted to slap himself. An hour later, the manager, now in a hastily donned suit, presented the finalized contract with a flourish. The total, 5 million yuan. The MC signed without hesitation. "I trust you'll handle this well," he said to Xiao Xia. "I'll contact you for future purchases." Her eyes sparkled. Future purchases? Just what kind of tycoon was this? As the ink dried, the MC's system pinged. Plus 230 million yuan returned. His balance skyrocketed, his earnings now ticking up nearly 1 yuan per second. A smirk tugged at his lips. Xiao Xia had been his lucky star indeed. He motioned for her to join him in a private corner, ignoring the manager's curious stare. The older man hissed at Xiao Xia, "Invite him to dinner. Thank him properly." But the MC had other plans. "Stick with me," he said, his voice low, "and you'll live in luxury." Xiao Xia's cheeks burned. Was this a proposition? "I am flattered, but—" He cut her off. "Give me your bank account number." Confusion flickered across her face. "Why?" "Call it a thank you," he said simply. "You were my lucky star today." Xiao Xia could only stare, utterly lost. A few minutes later, she received the notification and was shocked by the amount he had transferred. The protagonist smiled. To him, that sum was mere pocket change compared to what he had earned with her help. As a result, her friendship with him skyrocketed, and she immediately invited him to dinner as a gesture of gratitude. He mused silently about how effective money was at boosting relationships, and how much he enjoyed watching the numbers climb. They exchanged WeChat contacts, and the woman couldn't help but notice how strikingly handsome and attractive he was. The observation led her to briefly fantasize about him, a thought she found herself surprisingly open to. However, he merely thanked her for her work, politely said his goodbyes, and informed her he was leaving. His abrupt departure caught her off guard. Stunned, she refused to believe what had just happened. Before she could process it, she dashed after him, desperately calling his name. But by then, he was already inside his sports car. With a final smile and a casual wave, he drove off, leaving her standing alone on the sidewalk. Embarrassment crept over her, as she struggled to understand why his departure had left such a hollow ache in her chest. Yichuan, a mental patient, sees all living creatures as pigs. On the day of his job assignment, he awakened a life-class profession, butcher. His teachers and classmates were bitterly disappointed, and even his childhood sweetheart left him. However, this seemingly useless profession granted him two unique traits. He deals extra damage to pigs. Damage from pigs is halved. And since everyone looks like pigs in his eyes, armed with just a butcher's knife, Yichuan begins his incredible rise to godhood. Full recap is in the channel and link in description.